Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of a fat activist saying skinny shaming isn't nearly as bad as fat shaming. We're also going to be taking a look at a couple of bonus clips from this same creator, including one where they're responding to someone who's saying if you can't fit into airline seats, you must be 400 pounds. And another one where they're responding to someone who says you're not going to make it past the age of 40, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. She's going to be responding to this comment that reads, "Body shaming works both ways. I just lost 60 pounds. Being called a thin is just as offensive as being called fat."
Let's talk about why this comment is not true.
Oh, okay. That takes care of that.
And if you want more information as to why, you can go read this article. Skinny shaming is not the same as fat phobia.
This article written by somebody else living in a larger body. Okay.
So here's the deal. Society wants us to be as close to the beauty standard as possible, which means thin, Eurocentric beauty standards, right? So if someone is calling you thin, they're calling you closer to the beauty standard.
Not in the way that fat activists say it. They're not like, hey, thin, like it's a good thing. They're saying it as an insult to try to make themselves feel better or whatever. It's a stupid attempt at an insult, but they do mean it that way.
Whether you interpret that as like too thin, too gaunt, whatever.
Okay, well, if big is beautiful, then when somebody says, hey, you're fat, they're also giving you a compliment, right? Like,
they're still saying that you're closer to the beauty standard than someone who is fat.
yeah, that's what they meant by that. Hey, you're closer to the beauty standard. And they said it with this kind of tone. Thin? Like,
Someone who is fat is marginalized by society. That means they don't have access to healthcare, they don't have access to travel, public spaces.
what about exceedingly thin people? All the same infrastructure is very uncomfortable for them. Doctors give them a hard time. Society makes fun of them, etc.
Don't have access to clothing. They are treated terribly by people, by healthcare professionals. We are not a protected class. We can get fired from our jobs.
You can get fired from your jobs like every other human being on the planet. This is unacceptable. Wait a minute, you can just fire somebody living in a larger body as if they were some regular ass person? What? They should be a protected class and you should not be able to fire them no matter how grossly negligent they are. Okay. Well, mustachioed gentlemen are also not a protected class, and they can fire me too. In fact, I've been fired in the past. What is this world we're living in? What?
For being fat, we statistically make less than our thin counterparts. Like,
How much less work do you do than your thin counterparts statistically?
the societal power is not towards fat people, it is towards thin people. So if someone is calling you fat, they are doing it to stigmatize you.
When a larger person calls somebody a thin mint or a skinny or the thins, they're doing it to try to dunk on you or make themselves feel better. So I don't know why you're playing this weird game. Pretending like when a larger person calls somebody a thin, they're actually meaning you're closer to the beauty standard, friend. Like, that's not what they mean by that. Clearly, can't you read tone?
In some sort of way. It's not.
Hey, skinny mini, thin mint. Oh, thank you for saying that I'm closer to the beauty standard, my friend. What a nice compliment. Skinny bitch. Oh my. Enough with the compliments, my friend.
The same. It's not equivalent. It is meant to further marginalize you.
I really wish we would stop using the phrase marginalized, because it's so close to margarine, and I keep having to make that joke repeatedly, and I don't want to make the same stupid joke over and over again. Come up with something else.
And like, yes, a lot of fat people like myself have reclaimed the word, and we're like, it's literally just an adjective, and
Okay, then if somebody calls you it, it's not an insult.
it is an accurate descriptor for my body, and I'm not going to let it be a stigmatizing word for myself. But we know that people still try to weaponize that language. But it still stands to reason that someone saying, hey, go eat a burger, which is something that is often said, versus, hey,
stop eating a burger.
Your body looks like a busted can of biscuits.
Well, I guess you haven't heard the other bad insults that thinner people get. It's not just always, hey, go eat a burger. It's sometimes, hey, you're a bag of bones. You look like a little kid. You look like a prepubescent boy is one that women hear sometimes if they're very thin. There's a lot of stuff, dude. And it can be very negative and mean.
Which has been said to me in a previous video.
Right, that's not nice, of course. And not nice things are said to thin people as well. And it sucks all the way around. Let's stop being bastards to each other. Just in general, that would probably be chill.
Are not the same thing.
They are not the same thing, but they are equally as bad. One is somebody being given a negative name based on their body, and the other is somebody being given a negative name based on their body. Literally the same thing, my friend. Please try to see the world beyond your own lens. Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, most people don't weigh 400 pounds. Jesus.
I think that people really have zero concept of weight.
So most people do weigh 400 pounds. Jesus.
And size. And at what size things actually start to affect you and you start to lose access to things. So you think that
saying this commenter thinks is being generous. Am I right? Sorry.
access to seats on airplanes starts to affect you at 400 pounds? Wildly inaccurate.
Okay, when does it start to affect us?
So first of all, most of U.S. women
Are 800 pounds and up. We all know that.
are size 16 and over and are plus size. So
Tell me how most women are plus size for the 800th time. Please.
we're starting there as our baseline. Most of U.S. women are plus size.
All right, so a size 16 will make you about 400 pounds. Okie doke.
So most U.S. women are going to be like an XL, a 1X, okay? I myself am a few sizes above that.
Okay.
I am like a 3X on the top, a 4X on the bottom. So if we're starting at like an...
Okay, what size is that? A size 16 is a 1X? Is that what she said? And you're a 4X?
So most U.S. women are going to be like an XL, a 1X, okay?
Okay, so that's a 16.
I myself am a few sizes above that. I am like a 3X on the top, a 4X on the bottom.
So a size 16 is like an XL or a 1X. Therefore, is a 4X like a 20 or something? Is that how it goes? Okay, I just Googled it again, and it says that a 4X is equivalent to a size 26 or 28.
So if we're starting at like an XL, a 1X being the average, I am only a couple sizes above that.
Okay, hold on. After you said that, you looked up into the side for a moment there. Let's take a look at that look.
I am only a couple sizes above that.
Okay, and then you look to the side and smirk. Are you really? I mean, because after you said that, you went like... I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't care what size you are. That's not what this is about. Okay, so you're only a couple sizes above the norm, but you can't fit in an airline seat.
Okay, I'm giving you a reference point so you can follow me.
Okay, so you're only a size 4X, and you can't even fit in the seat, so it's really not even like you have to be very large at all to not fit in the seat. I wish I had looked this up while I was filming, but you're actually a size 26 or 28, which is 10 to 12 sizes larger than the average woman if she's a size 16.
I am like 325 pounds ish.
Ish. Okay. When was the last time you weighed yourself? And I'm not saying it matters, I'm just asking. Most fat activists avoid the scale like the plague.
Right? I think I don't weigh myself often.
See?
Because I don't care.
See? So how accurate is this 325 number? That's the last time we went to the doctor's office several years ago and they forced us to hear this number. So...
I don't weigh myself often because I don't care. But last time I was at the doctor, I think I was like 325, 330.
See, it was at the doctor! Dude, I'm in your head, baby. I'm all up in your head. I'm sorry.
It was like 325, 330.
Now it's 330. Okie doke. What was the actual number?
I need a seatbelt extender.
Okay.
When it is available to me through like Southwest Airlines, I utilize their customer of size policy.
Okay.
I am not 400 pounds. However, I need accommodations on airlines.
Okay, well, according to your own measurements, you last weighed 330. God knows how long ago that was.
And I am only a couple sizes above the average US woman.
You really need to stop looking at that fatness spectrum and using it to make yourself feel better, dude. Like, this is not helping you, my friend. By the way, this is me in editing. After looking it up, a size 4X is actually a size 26 or 28. So if the average woman is a 16, personally, if I can't fit into an airline seat, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm only a couple sizes bigger than the average person. I'm going to see it as a wake-up call. The fact that this person says, I'm only a couple size larger than the average woman, kind of proves that the fatness spectrum is deluding a lot of people. Instead of looking at the very real-world limitations that they are placing on themselves, they're using this comparative measure to say, I'm not as big as that person, or I'm only a little bit bigger than the average. That's why these coping scales are not helping us. It doesn't matter what the average person can fit into or what they're doing. All that matters is the limitations that we have placed upon ourselves. I can't get up using my own legs, but neither can Sally, so it's chill. What? No.
What you all fail to realize, because you won't acknowledge your own biases,
Go on.
is that accommodations for people's size, i.e., making seats a little bit bigger on airplanes, because they actually have shrunk about 4 inches since the 1980s because corporate greed,
Right, money.
would benefit everyone.
Except for the airlines, right? They wouldn't like that too much. If they had to put less seats in there and make less money and pass the cost down to me.
They would benefit you, because you cannot look at me and tell me you have never been uncomfortable in an airplane seat. And
I can fit into the seat that is there enough to where it works.
that doesn't have to do with just someone's body weight. It can also do with your height.
Indeed, but we're not talking about that. Also, you cannot control your height, unlike some other aspects of ourselves.
Tall people get really cramped on planes.
I don't think making seats wider is going to help the legroom situation.
Like, it doesn't have to do with just your body weight. And yes, even skinny people can acknowledge, hey, you know what? Walking down a center aisle is kind of uncomfortable. And
What? Why would skinny people be uncomfortable walking down the center aisle? The most uncomfortable part is being seated next to other people who might be spilling into your seat and not staying in their own.
I would kind of appreciate a couple extra inches.
That's what she said. Do-do-do. Shh. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. That was wildly inappropriate.
In an airplane seat. Because it is kind of uncomfortable for everybody all around. And it would...
I will gladly sit in discomfort if it means that the rest of you jerks also have to be uncomfortable. That's the kind of guy I am, you know? I want to pass the love.
It would be kind of nice if they made things a little more comfortable for everybody. But you won't say that because you just hate fat people.
Well, apparently you hate thin people because in the last video you said it's fine to call somebody thin and it's not the same as fat phobia. So personally, I think it would be nice if airline seats were a little bit bigger, but we don't need to make them several sizes larger to where we can only fit 10 of them in a plane, because then the cost of the tickets is going to go through the roof. And now we see how the fatness spectrum and other coping scales like that are actually pretty harmful. People are using this to delude themselves into thinking that their situation isn't as bad as it is, which is the entire point of the fatness spectrum. Next, now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, "Can't wait till I'm 10 years older and guaranteed not to sit next to you on a plane. Maybe one day you'll see the light."
You know, when I first started posting on the internet, people were like, "You're not gonna live until you're 30." And then it was, "You're not gonna live until you're 40."
Oh yeah?
I am turning 39 in, I don't know, like 5-6 weeks.
In your face, haters! In your face!
Y'all are gonna keep waiting for something to happen and...
Imagine trying to dunk on people by saying, "I'm alive. I'm still living." I love this smug look on her face.
It's not happening.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Because real G's don't die? Or something?
Because I, say it with me, go to my preventive screening. Do you?
What? So obesity is not going to lead to an early demise because I go to my screenings at the doctor. The same doctor who I constantly argue with because they say that all my health conditions are related to my weight.
No, legitimately, do you? Do you go to your primary care doctor every year? Do you get colonoscopies?
Okay, this is getting real weird, fam. Alright, so you're not gonna pass away early because you get colonoscopies, you morons. Can't you see it? Don't you know the key to a long life is plenty of colonoscopies? Hold on, I'm gonna go get my rubber gloves. Alright, so you're morbidly obese and you're battling a myriad of health problems. I could recommend diet and exercise and some other lifestyle changes, or why don't you just bend over? Hold on, let me put on these rubber gloves. Why don't you just bend over? I can help you live a long time right now. I'm sorry. That's what you do when you go to give a colonoscopy. That's my given colonoscopy face and gesture. I'm sorry, why are you unsubscribing? Come on, man, come on! The look on my face when I extended my lifespan by 5 years by getting a colonoscopy.
Do you get mammograms?
No, they don't let me do that anymore. They act all weird when I try to get those.
Do you get blood work done? Do you look at your glucose levels?
What is all this stuff gonna do to extend our lives? These are just diagnostic tests. And they are diagnostic tests that we often argue with the result of. Unless it's the blood, because that blood is always dank. It doesn't matter how obese we get, our blood is always pristine.
Do you get your cholesterol looked at? Do you do all of those things? Because I do. Legitimately.
Okay, well, some people eat healthy food and exercise. I don't know how many cameras they've had up their ass, but the eating healthy and exercising seems to be panning out for a lot of people.
And they're all good.
But doctors are bigots and they participate in medical fat phobia. So what are you on about?
I have lipedema, which if you did any research on this,
is exacerbated by body weight.
People with lipedema are typically metabolically healthy.
Lipedema is completely irrelevant to bring up, I would say, unless you've lost weight and you have this stubborn fat that remains that you can't get rid of.
We have a connective tissue disorder, which causes a buildup of diseased fat that cannot be lost with diet and exercise.
Actually, doctors recommend several lifestyle changes, a lot of which include avoiding foods that cause inflammation. So I don't know if you're doing that part, or if you're just getting colonoscopies or whatever to try to take care of this situation. There are many different approaches, apparently.
And because I am at stage 3, it can only be removed through surgery, which is very...
What are you talking about? All of the research that I've looked at says that you need to try to lose weight through lifestyle changes first.
Very difficult to get insurance to pay for. Hence, why I look like this.
Yeah, I bet insurance wouldn't give you a lung transplant if you're currently smoking either.
But again, metabolically healthy.
So metabolically healthy that we can't fit into an airline seat.
I am so tired of having the same conversation over and over.
Well, if we're tired, there are certain lifestyle changes that we can make to increase our energy levels. Oh, you didn't mean it in that way.
But even if I wasn't, doesn't mean that you get to treat me like trash and think that I don't deserve basic things or like enjoyment in life.
Nobody said you don't deserve X, Y, or Z. You're not the center of the universe. Nobody actually has an opinion on what you deserve. You know that?
Just because you are thin doesn't mean that you've like won a prize.
Okay, so you feel inferior to thin people and you're projecting?
'Cause guess what? Thin people die of diseases
No.
all the time.
Actually, no.
You didn't like make it somewhere that the rest of us didn't just because you're thin. You didn't win anything. I hate to break it to you.
Whatever makes you feel better about where you're at in life. You didn't win anything. I hate to break it to you. Well, it sounds like you feel that this person did win something and you're jealous of them. Otherwise, you wouldn't have brought it up. Nobody said they were superior to you or you were inferior. You're projecting your own insecurities, my friend. So that was completely unhinged, as usual, from this person. And obviously, I disagree with all of the aforementioned, but what do you think? Is calling somebody a thin not as bad as fat phobia? Do most people weigh 400 pounds? And are we gonna live forever because we keep getting colonoscopies? Leave a comment below. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.